time to drive this 7.5 GTI Performance and see if it's one of the best buys I've ever made or one of the worst. Hello and welcome back to the Volkswizard channel. Welcome to another Volkswizard car collection video. As some of you may know, 2026 is the 50th anniversary of the Golf GTI, and as a GTI fan I felt it would be a good time to be back behind the wheel of a Golf GTI as my daily driver. As some of you may know, I ran a Mark 8 from 2021-22 and that was an incredible car, but there's one version of GTI that most people think does it even better than the Mark 8, and I'm on my way to collect one. Now this car has been offered around the trade, a lot of people said no, and as a resale opportunity it isn't really that good, but as a car for me, and probably only me, it's absolutely perfect. There are three interesting things about it. One, where it's come from. Two, the modifications. And three, the mileage. So let's head to Woking and go and collect what should be my new, to me, Golf GTI daily driver. Well, welcome to Woking, welcome to an underground garage, which makes this job a lot easier in, well, the start of winter. So the car's just over here, behind this actually very nice early 8V RS3. So are you ready for it? It's probably not what you're expecting. Ta-da! So it's the 2018 model year, 67 reg, Golf GTI 7.5 Performance. One, it's from Hong Kong. Two, it's done 14,000 miles. Three, the amount of modifications on it total about what I'm paying for the car as a whole. So yeah, I wouldn't buy a Japanese import unless I could test drive it. That's impossible because you'd buy them from an auction over there, particularly if it's automatic, which most of them are, because if you buy a bad gearbox you'll wish you hadn't bought it from Japan. But this car is from Hong Kong and it's a UK related country, or at least it was before China took it over. Therefore the service history for this car, which is full for the time it was in Hong Kong, is in English as well as whatever language they use in Hong Kong. It came to the UK in 2022. It's one owner from you, so he personally imported it here, and then there's a story I can't tell you on camera with its ray wheels and its body styling. It's probably a bit out of kilter with what we like in the UK, but I think it's a super cool car that's been very well done. But it's a 7.5 GTI Performance underneath, it's super low mileage, and also the bit you probably will like is that it's pretty much got every option from new. So it's got a pan roof, which hasn't cracked yet. It's got leather, it's got Pro Nav, it's got rear camera, which wasn't standard at this point. It's got DCC, but it hasn't got DCC, it's got DDC, which is KW's version. But we'll go into the mods shortly. I'll get it paid for, and then I'll give you a proper look around, and then we'll go for my first drive in this car, which for various reasons will be the first proper drive. I've only driven around this car park when I saw it a few days ago. So yeah, super excited to be back behind the wheel of my own GTI once again. Okay, the deal has been done. I'm now the new owner of this 7.5 GTI Performance. I am so excited. I made a video maybe 7 years ago about how brilliant the 7.5 GTI Performance was, and this is the first one that I've owned that I'm not selling. Let me give you a quick tour of the mods then. So at the front, it's pretty standard, at least till we open the bonnet. We've got these raised 18-inch wheels with some interesting Potenza RE71 RS, those are. Brembo brakes, which are super cool. We've got some mud flaps, which I don't particularly like. And then we've got this skirt and the new speed sticker, which breaks up the white a bit like the Racing Line Stripe did on their demo car that I filmed a few years ago. We've got some Brembos on the back as well, which again are two-piece, but the normal electric caliper there. The wheel tyre fitting is a little bit unusual. So it's on KW DDC suspension, so the DCC, which this car's got, works. We'll come back to the spec of it in a sec. Got this big wing, which I'm kind of getting used to actually. Let's see, it must be bonded onto the original tailgates. We've got this diffuser as well, which I'm pretty sure is not standard, but it looks really good. It's not as extreme as the Maxton. Surely it's the middle bit that's been added on. Yeah, I think so. That's more like a modern Club Sport diffuser. Okay, we've got this exhaust, so stainless, and it's valved, and it's got a remote valve controller which is stuck in the sun visor. And then hopefully you can see the yellow of KW. I'll just move the camera. Let's see the KWs there, and maybe even a cable, because they've got the adaptive damper function, which is super cool. Got cameras front and back, which I do like. There's a big reason why I need these in my car now. We've got paddle extensions, which look really good, black. Let's just put some light on those, which is cool. We have got a shifter there, so it looks like a manual shifter, but it's a DSG shifter. That start button shouldn't be red. We have got a phone bracket there. Something going on with that rear view mirror, I'm not sure. It could be a camera or something like that. That's the valve controller for the exhaust in there. There are other things as well. Oh yeah, we best have a look under the bonnet. Okay, so you'd be familiar with Racing Line's oil management system. That's on there. And we've got the R600 and some filler cap there. I don't know if that's relocated, just a cap I think on this car. Okay, actually we've got their turbo hose as well, and an 034 Motorsport elbow down there. I presume it's mapped. This was part of the problem selling the car, because nobody knows who's mapped it. So it's going to go on a dyno, and we might be able to work out who. It could be a Racing Line agent in Hong Kong. Right, I think that is most of the mods, but there will be more I've forgotten. When I was offered this car, it was a bit unclear about the history. Sorry, this car's got a, should have shown you under the bonnet, it's got a battery connection that is remote, so if you're leaving it in storage or for security, you can just turn the battery off with this. So in here, UK logbook, it's registered properly, all the VAT's been paid on it. So as you can see, everything is in 2 languages, because the UK had a lot to do with Hong Kong until China took it over. I can't remember when. There's the original bill of sale there. And then each one of these little folders has got a service receipt in it. And as you can see, it's in English. So it needs a good service now. But that is well within my capabilities. It does log a load of faults when you start it up. I think that's because the battery is disconnected and you have to put it back on with the remote, and then they just stop when you start driving the car, a bit like Mark 5s did. So I don't think that's anything to worry about. I'm a bit worried about the rattling and clonking from the suspension, but coilovers do that, so it just needs a bit of setting up. Right, let's talk about the spec then. So this car has got the roof, which hasn't cracked. It's got the leather. It's got electric seats, which is a bit of a surprise, especially when you see what's in the boots. Rear view camera in the badge, factory fit. It's got Pro Nav. I don't think it's got lane assist. We won't be too sad about that. So yeah, electric memory seats. Blimey, I didn't even know that was an option. And just 14,565 miles. So you'll see when it came to the UK, if you look at the MOT history, the mileage was changed to miles and it's all consistent. So now we haven't got power, so you need to press, it's keyless. You have to press the other one, like that. That gives us power. And then foot on the brake. It's just like, it's a UK spec car, as far as I can tell, built at Wolfsburg with a W in the chassis number. So it's a European car. So you get all these errors, but that's because the car thinks you've just put the battery on. Okay, it hasn't got a climate windscreen. We do have heated seats, so it's UK spec. Ooh, that's different. I've never seen that before. This car's just full of stuff. That Chinese sticker, that can stay there. That's the stuff in here. Not sure what that is. Okay, well, like I said earlier, I've only driven it around the car park here because I didn't bring my tray plates and it wasn't taxed. So I kind of bought this a bit blind, but there's a few warning lights on the dashboard, but I'm confident they're going to clear. So let's get the cameras rigged up and let's get this car home. Oh, I need to show you what's in the boot. You'll not believe this. So even though this car was spec'd with probably the heaviest, most luxurious seats that you wouldn't want to swap for anything else, the owner bought some. He actually upgraded the struts on the boot as well, which I've actually seen on other cars in the UK. Don't know if you recognise those, but they're really powerful. So in here, we have a set of Recaros Sportster CS seats, unused, and with the fittings kit for a Golf, all in Japanese apparently. So yeah, I'll get those out. We'll have a look at those later. It's taken a while to get them in the car. We've also got, and this made me pay a bit more for the car because I wasn't going to get it. I've also got the original discs and calipers. Oh man, so much paperwork. So in there, Brembo boxes with the original bits in, which are pretty useful, even if they never go on this car. Right, time to drive this 7.5 GTI Performance and see if it's one of the best buys I've ever made or one of the worst. Okay, let's drive my new GTI. So foot on the brake, it just feels weird with this knob, which looks like a manual. And then into drive. Hopefully all these flashing lights will stop when we get going, as I said. Parking brake off.
Black view for your safe driving.
I do like a dash cam.
Starting normal recording.
Alright, everything's gone out now. That's good because I thought I was going to be in for some repairs. At 14,000 miles, there shouldn't be much to do. There is a knock though from this front right suspension. So apparently when it came to the UK, it was too low. You just had to crawl over speed humps. That's why it wasn't used much here. And that's not a good noise, is it? And some spacers had been fitted. I was a bit confused by that because you'd think that you just raise coilovers to the height you want, but I'm sure the reason for that will become apparent when I start looking. Okay, so we've definitely got a fruity exhaust tune. Is it too fruity? I don't think it is actually. In that underground car park, it wasn't deafening at all. That could be anti-roll bar, couldn't it? As it's going over these slight bumps. Doesn't sound good though, does it? But at least it's only the front right, because bearing in mind there could be rattles from each corner. So yeah, that's pretty urgent. Yeah, I'll take it very easy on the way home now. Gearbox feels nice. Actually now, let's have a go with the DCC. So DCC driving mode selection is what it says, which is good. We're in sport, so maybe we can go a bit softer. Not bad. I've driven the Bilsteins with DCC coilovers, and to be honest, they were just harder and harder. So it's going to take a bit of time to get a feel for this. But first impressions is that it's got potential. So I know it's been modified, but the core car, the 7.5, particularly the GTI Performance, is all here, present and correct. So it just feels like a nice place to be, which I wouldn't necessarily say an 8 or 8.5 does, unless you spec it in a certain way. Okay, so going out of a 30 to a 40, let's just have a quick squeeze then. So we can go up to about 70 kilometres, so double the speed we are now. Drop it to second. Yes, I don't think that's standard. A bit of chuffing as well. Blimey. I think we should do that again then. So we're doing about 20 now. Second gear, which is probably a bit optimistic in these conditions. No one behind us. Second. Flipping hell. We need to get this on a dyno and see what it's producing, because that felt plenty. Right. Okay, 30 to 40 in third. Can we not spin? No, kick down. Don't kick down, you stupid car. He didn't kick down then, he just spun wheels. Let's try that again. Flipping hell. Yeah, it's fair to say it's got some performance. Okay, just stuck in a bit of traffic crossing the M4. I'm pleased to report it's perfectly docile in here. It just feels like a normal car. Clutch mapping feels perfect. This is a remote then from the exhaust. It's got a little cover you push down and then 2 buttons. Oh. And they say A and B on them, but I can't really hear a difference, so that's something to look into. And even though we've got the adaptive cruise on the steering wheel, it doesn't do anything. It doesn't like say there's a fault with it. And if you press the assistance button, which is a picture of a car with brackets around it top and bottom, it says no assistance menus available. So that's interesting because it should have the radar behind the grille. Okay, it looks like we're up to national speed limit on this road, so 70 miles an hour. It's a dual carriageway. There's no sign saying otherwise. So let's prop it into third. The road's pretty good. It's 9 degrees, could be worse. Just let this car go. Okay. Bear in mind we've got a load of stuff in the boot, so it's going to slow it down a bit, but that's 50. 70. Yeah, that's pretty quick. There's a bit of torque steer. I wouldn't say there's a lot at these speeds, but obviously lower speeds, lower gears, it's going to be a bit of a handful. But in the dry now, fucking hell, it's great. And it sounds okay. It doesn't sound too loud. We can always run a higher gear. It's got 7 gears. It's pretty good. I think I will reserve any verdicts on the handling though until that rattle is sorted, because it doesn't sound good. Okay, let's get back to base then, and I'll give you my honest verdict on this car and my plans for it. Okay, it's now 2 days after I collected the car, and I'll show you what I've changed and what I'm planning to change. So, already the wind deflectors are off, the mud flaps are off, the visor extender is off, and the wide angle mirror that was just clipped on is off. There's the visor extender. That's pretty much in here. The phone bracket is actually really good. It just, like with the weight of your phone, it locks it into place. That's a very clever bit of engineering. The battery cutoff, which was driving me mad because it automatically cuts the battery off after about a minute when the ignition's off. That's off now, so it's back to looking standard down there. I'll show you what that looks like. It's a little box and it just intercepts the earth signal on the battery, and you open or close the circuit with the remote. Now, missing, but I haven't removed it, is the adaptive cruise radar. There's nothing in there, and that's a bit disappointing, but it's my own fault. I should have checked that, but there's no radar visible, so it's an easy thing to miss. Clearly it's not something you need in Hong Kong because of all their traffic jams, so that's something that I need to retrofit. But I'll need to change the steering wheel, and I should have noticed this, but I was just so excited at the time. It's pretty much identical, but it just doesn't have the picture of a car with the arrows there. So that's just normal cruise control, which doesn't explain why even that doesn't work, so I need to crack on to that. Speaking of faults, even though the car's really clearly in park now, if you open the door, it says put it in park. Now, I know there's been a fault on Mark 7, never seen it on 7.5 yet, but there's always a first, where the switch gets confused and doesn't know which position it's in. But generally it does that all the time, not just with the ignition off. So if we start the car, what gear are we in? We're in P. So it knows it's in park now, so that's a bit of a weird one. The remote for the exhaust does work, and it's pretty obvious once you tune into the sound. But I'll save that for another day. What surprised me was that these, which look like a stretched tyre on a wide wheel, it's just rubber. It's just like a bigger version of those alloy gaiters we used to get. So if you want that stretched look without having to buy a big wheel and risking your your rim, then get some of those. But I don't like them. They're going to come off. But once you take them off, you realise it's just a 225/40/18 tyre. But this tyre is probably responsible for all that wheel spin because it's effectively a Cup 2. It's probably even more hardcore than a Michelin Pilot Sport Cup 2. So whilst it's road legal, it's just not good for these kind of cold damp conditions we get in the UK. Probably okay for Hong Kong. But these are going to be my track wheels. I'm not sure about the tyres as yet. But these are super light forged wheels. They're too exotic for UK shitty roads. So I've got some 19s with Conti Sport Contact 7s, which are an amazing road tyre pretty much all year round, that are going to go on. For now, I might change them in due course. Front strut, okay. Yeah, it's still clonking. I had the wheel off, checked the pinch bolt, I checked the drop link top and bottom, and some other bits and pieces. They're all pretty tight, if not perfectly tight. The one thing I really need to check is the nut on the top of the piston, because if that works loose, you get exactly this problem. I'm pretty sure, having spoken to the owner's family, that the owner's done most of the work, so it's possible he hasn't torqued it correctly and it's worked loose. But luckily it's just the one corner out of 4. I know there are reports on the internet where people have had problems with this KWDDC suspension rattling, but I'm hoping it's not that. And that was the very early versions, which can't be on this car because they seem to fix that problem about the time this car was registered. So let's hope it's just a loose nut. Another problem, maybe you guys can help me with, is that we don't appear to have digital radio. Shut up. So if we go into radio, by the way, this is going to come off when I work out how to pull it off, because I don't know what it is, I don't need it. Just need to replace the vent there because it's actually missing. So yeah, digital radio, station list, nothing, and there is a fault in VCDS saying that there's no aerial. So if you know what that is, let me know. I'm sure it's been buggered around. That's why it's gone wrong, because they don't normally go wrong. I'll just show you the book pack, by the way. It looks identical to a European one. It's in English, so you know that's a definitely plus point over Jap imports. But the big difference is really that this car was bought effectively from the one owner that brought it to the UK. So yeah, it was a lot lower risk than something like a Jap import that's gone through an auction. But there's still a risk, which I'll talk about in part 2. The Recaros, I bet you were wondering when I was going to show you them. So here they are, they're Sportster CS. I don't think this spec is available in Europe. I think they came from Japan. All this apparently is in Japanese. Well, there's a bit of English, but I don't know if it's anything other than that warranty sheet. So they've never been used, never been fitted. Fitting kits are there with the brackets for a Golf. They are heated, which is cool, but whether this will work with the Golf switches, I don't know. Somewhere on the side of them is a heating switch. Yeah, there it is. Just there. So, you know, they are going to work as heated, but really you want them to work through the switch on the dash, which might be a bit more complicated. But anyway, yeah, super cool seats, super light, and I think they'll suit that car very nicely. But then you end up thinking, well, shall I take the back seats out? The whole reason I've bought this car is because I want a nice 5-door, 5-seat car that I can take family out in, which has been a bit of a problem. The Skoda's all right, but it's not a Golf, is it? Okay, so future episodes then with my new GTI. I think probably better YouTubers would have a whole list of them they've already worked out before they bought the car. Not me, because actually it's 80% bought for me, 20% for videos, but I think there will be some good content coming out of it. First thing we need to do is get it on a dyno. That will make a good video. I might email Racing Line in the meantime, see if they've got a record of this chassis number with a map, because they'll have a record wherever it's mapped in the world. But even if we know it's a Racing Line map, we need to really see what it's producing. So we need to go on a dyno. And just over there, about a couple of miles, is Stealth Racing. Cool guys, good dyno. So I think that video is pretty much definite, possibly even before Christmas. Following that, then we need to do a video about one of the gadgets I've had to remove from this car that you haven't seen yet. It's a gadget you never want to see fitted to your car, and it's been a lesson for me, I can tell you. Every day is a school day. I've been doing this for 23 years. So keep a lookout for that, because I'm going to show you exactly what happened, and you can also then check to see if your car has one of these things fitted. I hope it hasn't, but you never know. So yeah, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do so, because I can guarantee you that will be well worth watching. As ever guys, thanks for watching. This Volks was a video. Keep subscribing, keep commenting, and I'll see you for the next one, hopefully very soon.